Ever wondered why people go on killing sprees?
Are you interested in exploring the paranormal?
Baffled by stories of previous lives?
Well, so are we.
In each episode, we'll be discussing the weird and wonderful stories of some truly confusing phenomenons and some horrific true crime cases.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and join us every Tuesday wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And be prepared to be totally and utterly perplexed.
At 1-800-Flowers.com, we know that connections are at the heart of being human. Whether celebrating life's joys or comforting during tough times, 1-800-Flowers helps you express what words can't. For nearly 50 years, millions have trusted 1-800-Flowers to deliver thoughtful gifts that help create lasting bonds. Because it's more than just a gift. It's your way of showing you care. Visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST and connect today. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.
Hi, who here loves when their nails are perfectly done? Me. I'm Sarah Gibson Tuttle, and I started Olive in June because, let's be real, we all deserve to have gorgeous nails, but who wants to spend a fortune or half their day at the salon? And that's why I created the Mani System, so you can have that salon-perfect manicure right at home. And guess what? The best part? Each mani only costs $2. Yep, you heard me, $2. No more $30, $40, $50 salon trips that eat up your day. Now you can paint your nails whenever you want, wherever you want. And trust me, you're going to be obsessed with your nails and everyone is going to ask you, where did you get your nails done? And here's a little something extra. Head over to oliveinjune.com and get 20% off your first Mani System with code PERFECTMANI20 at oliveinjune.com/PERFECTMANI20. That's code PERFECTMANI20 for 20% off at oliveinjune.com/PERFECTMANI20. You're all set for a nail glow up. Let's get those nails looking fabulous, shall we?
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
Crime of Fashion. I'm Jason Horton.
I'm Rebecca Lieb.
And this is Ghost Town.
In 1995, after the last show on the final day of New York Fashion Week, and right across the street from the Women's National Republican Club in Midtown, crowds erupted at 51 Rockefeller Plaza. More than 600 people packed inside, including Gianni and Donatella Versace, Stephen Baldwin, David Copperfield, the Wayans brothers, Jon Stewart, Matt Lauer, RuPaul, and Molly Ringwald, while others only hoped to grab a table. Duran Duran and the Spin Doctors played inside, the soundtrack to the real stars of the night. Supermodels Tyra Banks, Naomi Campbell, Elle Macpherson, Claudia Schiffer, Christy Turlington, and turkey meatloaf and chicken wings. Today on Ghost Town, the rise and fall of one of the worst brand failures and business fails of all time, Fashion Cafe. But before the fashion and the fraud and the failures, our story begins with Francisco Butti and Tommaso Butti. Tommaso came to the United States in 1989 at the age of 22 for what he described as a, quote, fresh start after feuding with his wealthy father. According to a 1997 profile in New York Magazine, Butti had actually left Florence, Italy, in the wake of passing 51 bad checks and promissory notes. Calling it a, quote, financial problem, Butti dismissed the $30,000 to $40,000 in the dispute. Quote, "We're not talking about $3 million, he said. Soon after his arrival in the United States, Butti and two friends founded Focaccia, a gourmet food delivery service that catered to Wall Street corporate types, and started infiltrating New York's elite circles. Focaccia quickly became successful with a list of clients that included Merrill Lynch, Chase Manhattan, and fashion designer Donna Karan. Quote, "I came here with a big wish and I wanted to achieve something in my life," Beauty once told the Associated Press. Quote, "If you have your own money on the line, then it's more important." After a few years, Beauty sold his stake in the company, transforming his initial $2,000 investment into what he described as a small fortune. At that point, he decided it was time to go bigger, so he enlisted the help of his brother Francisco. Capitalizing on the 90s model craze, their concept was a fashion cafe, a glamorous restaurant where tourists could come to New York and hobnob with models, or, at the very least, get a little piece of the fashion industry experience, all over a plate of waffle fries. Quote, "The public is not that educated and not that interested about the finer points of the industry," he told New York Magazine in 1995. "They want to see more the glamour and the entertainment of fashion. Keep in mind, this is the era of Rainforest Cafe, of Planet Hollywood, of these larger-than-life gimmicky restaurants that brought an experience to people that they couldn't get anywhere else." In November 1994, news broke that Claudia Schiffer, Naomi Campbell, and Elle Macpherson would be opening a restaurant with the Beauty Brothers, billing the establishment as modeling's answer to the Hard Rock Cafe. Quote, "In the 70s, rock was the main influence. In the 80s, Hollywood took center stage. But in the 90s, it is fashion that captures the imagination," Beauty told reporters at the time. With their incredible impact on lifestyle, designers are the celebrities and models are the heroines of the day. In December 1994, a ceremony commemorating the breaking ground of the Fashion Cafe site commenced. Naomi Campbell, Elle Macpherson, and Claudia Schiffer were all there, bursting through a paper backdrop in hard hats, wearing crop tops and miniskirts on a construction site. Though they were clearly the beautiful faces of Fashion Cafe, the extent of these supermodels' involvement was unclear, at least to the outward eye. Beauty described them as owners, yet when pressed on the financials, he replied that Fashion Cafe was a private company. Meanwhile, Macpherson told press simply that she and her fellow supermodels handled the 5 M's, quote, mood, marketing, merchandising, memorabilia, and menu. The reality was that Beauty offered Schiffer, Macpherson, and Campbell $50,000 to $100,000 for every personal experience they'd make at the restaurant, plus a percentage of the chain's future profits. All the models agreed except Christy Turlington, who initially dismissed the concept as, quote, tacky, but she did eventually sign on. There were investors in the cafe, but Beauty never talked about them. No, only that he was a self-made man, or that the models were the investors themselves. Both turned out to be, of course, stretches of the actual truth. In April 1995, after the last show on the final day of New York Fashion Week, the restaurant officially opened, and the only thing more high-profile than the packed restaurant was the buzz around it. Lauren Ezersky, a columnist for Paper Magazine, told the New York Times that the hype was so overwhelming she needed to reschedule an event introducing then-emerging designer Roberto Cavalli to her friends and colleagues. Quote, "We would have loved to have it after Roberto's show on Friday night, but who's not going to the Fashion Cafe? If we had the dinner on Friday, I might have skipped my own party." 600 people were served at the restaurant. Like we said in the opening, Tyra Banks, RuPaul, Claudia Schiffer's then-boyfriend David Copperfield, and so many more. Waiters walked chicken wings down a runway while fashion memorabilia adorned multiple dining areas named Milan, Paris, London, and New York. Christy Turlington's Calvin Klein's, Madonna's Jean-Paul Gaultier bustier, Audrey Hepburn's Givenchy dress from Breakfast at Tiffany's, and even one of Elizabeth Taylor's wedding gowns were all there to be seen as one perused the 7-page menu, selecting a fashion Cobb salad, a fashion crab cake, fashion tart, or turkey meatloaf. As Duran Duran and Spin Doctors played out cheeseburgers, the gift shop sold fashion baby tees and $1,500 Fashion Cafe leather jackets. The reviews were mixed. Associated Press called the restaurant a, quote, couture version of Planet Hollywood and the Hard Rock Cafe. The trendy, hipper-than-thou fashion crowd stuck out like Donna Karan in a Kmart, far afield from the chic streets of downtown. New York Times critic Ruth Reichel pointed out the irony of eating around a bunch of model-sized women and imagery that celebrated them. Quote, "The food I ate was surprisingly decent, but then I wasn't very hungry. Something inside me kept saying that this was just a new twist on an old theme. Sex and food are being marketed here as surely as they were when women wore bunny ears, she wrote. This time at least, women are pocketing the cash. But, again, were they? The answer was not so much. More after this break.
This episode of Ghost Town is brought to you by BetterHelp. What are some of your relationship green flags? We often hear about avoiding the red flags, but what if we focus more on looking for green flags in friends and partners? If you're like me, you're not always sure what they look like. Therapy can help you identify green flags and actively practice them in your relationships. And you can embody that green flag energy yourself. No matter what the relationship, dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back. For me, therapy has been very helpful. From learning positive coping skills, setting boundaries, to helping me be the best version of myself. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy both affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. You can also easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/ghosttown to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ghosttown.
Everyone knows that it doesn't truly feel like Valentine's without the flowers. So whatever you do, don't forget the flowers. Beat the Valentine's rush and order early at 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you order early from 1-800-Flowers, you can get up to 40% off gorgeous bouquets and one-of-a-kind arrangements that are guaranteed to wow. Don't put this off. Delivery dates are limited, so get up to 40% off today at 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Hello.
How are you doing? We are checking in. We're checking in, baby. You know
We're
it's
tired,
coming.
but we are checking in.
Yeah. We want to say hello to anyone's listening, supporting, spreading the good word of Ghost Town. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. As always, from us. Love us.
A little extra love going to those mayors.
Absolutely.
You know, our mayors used to model for some pretty noteworthy brands.
Oh, I didn't know that about them.
Oh, yeah. They walk that runway. This first mayor used to rock DSW shoes.
Hell yeah. Oof.
Frugal fashion. DSW.
Love it.
It's Ashley Matson.
Hello.
This mayor rocked an old school look. Remember Boss?
Do I remember
Hugo
Boss?
Hugo Boss?
Isn't it Boss by Hugo Boss?
Yes. Well, this boss used to walk the runway wearing Boss. Cat Joselle.
Hello.
This mayor kept it pretty professional. Used to rock a little St. John's Bay from JCPenney's. Just frugal fashion.
That might be regional.
Yeah. I think St. John's Bay might be old school regional. I think I'm saying it right. Classic. It's classic. It's classic Casey Weber.
Hello.
This mayor used to rock Old Navy when it was New Navy. It was just Old Navy, but brand new, where people were losing their minds like, Old Navy? Oh, yeah. Hey, Gap, I don't need you right now. I got Old Navy, but it's New Navy. But now Old Navy is back to being Old Navy. Now it's just old. But they were there when it was new.
Yeah, they were performance fleecing it up. They had the gray shirt that said straight up Old Navy, sans serif. I understand who they were.
It's Kelly Meehan.
Hello.
This mayor used to also rock a professional look. Arrow Oxford shirts. Arrow. As referenced in 30 Rock for an episode that I just rewatched, because I have no personality.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
That's Mr. Fancy Matthew Clemens LeRae.
Hello.
This mayor rocked an old school look. Benetton, baby.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the 80s. It's the 90s. It's the United Colors of Benetton. Yes.
Everyone is so tall. Everyone's from all over the goddamn place.
That's Mercer Rothermel.
Hello.
This mayor rocked an 80s look. A little OP, Ocean Pacific. Do you remember those? That's kind of a beachwear OP. Look it up. Ocean Pacific.
I don't know that brand specifically, but I can see 5 different brands like it in my head with like that same ocean-y font. It's like kind of like weathered. Yeah.
This one is just, OP. It was a classic 80s. Had to have it. Had to rock it. It's Chris Hernandez.
Hello.
And then our governor, used to walk a runway from the comfort of a private jet. What is fashion? Who is fashion? Who decides? Do you know when you see, like, if you watch, like, the Grammys and then somebody is wearing a haunted castle on their head? Who's making those decisions? That's our governor doing it, going, ha, 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 ha. I control the media. I control the weather. I control the industry. I control fashion. Whose decision was to make the carpet red? Yeah, that's our governor, baby. So we want to give a shout out to our governor, Avian Noble. If you want no ads, no chit chat, new bonus episode up now. Finally got that sucker up there.
It's a
7
wild
days
one.
free. It's a wild one. I was editing it. It's one of those where I was editing it. I was like, wait, what's happening next? And I was like, come on, Rebecca, say 2 sentences in a row correctly so I can get this. So I don't have to edit it.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
So I'm at the edge of my seat, then I'm off the edge of my seat, then I'm on the edge of my seat, but it is all nice and edited for you. It's up right now. Head on over to patreon.com/ghosttownpod. Do you want to get back into it?
Let's get back to some fashion. As other fashion cafes popped up in a handful of locations around the globe, including New Orleans, London, and Jakarta, the lawsuits also began and didn't stop. First, in August 1995, Buti sued Giorgio Santamborgio, the owner of a cafe called Fashion Cafe in Milan, for the legal rights to the name. Santamborgio in turn filed a counter-lawsuit against Buti as well as McPherson, Campbell, and Turlington. Notably, he did not sue Claudia Schiffer because, quote, she's a good friend. The models were later dropped from the suit, but Buti's were just beginning. By 1998, IRS agents had issued several warrants against the cafe for not paying taxes. The Buti brothers also owed back rent to Rockefeller Center. And yet, Tommaso Buti's day-to-day life didn't reflect this financial trouble. Not by a long shot. According to Vanity Fair, Buti reportedly threw a lavish $20,000 birthday party at a club in the meatpacking district, hired private jets for himself and his model wife, Daniela Pastova, and had even rented a $25,000 a month apartment from the Gucci family in Olympic Tower. Also, rumor had it he was planning on opening his own modeling agency with none other than Donald Trump. In September, to settle several suits that alleged Buti had lied to investors and misused company money on things like private jets and parties and apartments, Buti agreed to pay an undisclosed sum and walk away from Fashion Cafe. The cafe was shuttered in 1998, less than 3 years after its opening. But there were more debts to be paid. In 2000, the feds were on to Francisco and Tommaso, and the brothers, now back in Italy, were indicted on 51 federal counts, each of fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. Part of the allegations was that, allegedly, the brothers told investors they had sunk their own money into the venture when, of course, they had not, and that they had misappropriated the funds by, paying themselves a lot of money with them. The indictment said that the brothers made multiple transactions in excess of $10,000, which ultimately transferred more than $10.1 million into accounts in their names or into companies they controlled. However, Tommaso Buti has always maintained his innocence. Quote, I never took anything from the company, he told W Magazine. I'm going to keep saying that for the rest of my life. But not many people believed him at that point. Quote, he was a con artist, Wall Street lawyer David Jaroszkiewicz, who once sued Buti, told the New York Post. He was smart enough to con Daniela Pastova into marrying him. He was smart enough to con people out of millions of dollars. Before he actually faced charges against him, in 2021, President Trump granted a full pardon to Tommaso Buti. A statement from the White House read, quote, Mr. Buti is an Italian citizen and a respected businessman. He is the chief operating officer of a large Italian company and has started a successful charitable initiative to raise funds for UNICEF. More than 20 years ago, Mr. Butti was charged with financial fraud involving a chain of restaurants. He has not, however, been convicted in the United States. While virtually nothing about the history of Fashion Cafe aged well, there was one thing that did. Its merchandise. Rare vintage dealer Olivia Harutunian says that the Linda Meltzer designer baby tees are still huge. She says, quote, "They are so well cut and flattering because Linda did them. On top of that, there's this fascinating history with these supermodels who've been photographed in the merchandise. Now there's the appeal of, oh, I want to wear something that the supermodel did in the 90s because that time is gone." Now, if you want your own piece of 90s fashion history, you can buy it for a price. The price of Fashion Cafe shirts range from hundreds to thousands of dollars all over the internet, including Depop and The RealReal. Still, for some, it's the price you pay for your own piece of the fashion experience.
Did you know 1 in 2 women wear the wrong foundation? Matching foundation is hard, but Il Makiage makes it easy. Take the Power Match quiz to find a perfect match in seconds, customized to your unique skin tone, undertone, and coverage needs. With 600,000 5-star reviews, Woke Up Like This is our best-selling foundation for a reason. Available in 50 shades of weightless natural coverage. And with Try Before You Buy, you can try your full size at home for 14 days. Just pay shipping. Take the quiz at ilmakiage.com/quiz. That's ILMAKIAGE.com/quiz.
Hi, I'm Raj Punjabi from HuffPost.
And I'm Noah Michelson, also from HuffPost.
And we're the hosts of Am I Doing It Wrong?, a new podcast that explores the all-too-human anxieties we have about trying to get our lives right.
Each week on the podcast, Raj and I pick a new topic that we want to understand better and bring a guest expert on to talk us through how to get it right.
And we're talking like legit, credible experts. Doctors, PhDs, all-around superheroes.
From HuffPost and Acast Studios, check out Am I Doing It Wrong? Wherever you get your podcasts.
Just after 5 a.m., baby Tyler started wailing from his crib. After a few minutes, Billy heard Billie Jean changing the baby's diaper, and he heard his father saying goodbye and leaving for work. Then Billy felt Billie Jean slide back into bed next to him, and it was at this point that Billy heard the sound of the sliding glass side door open. And even in the darkness, he could tell this was not his father. Billy suddenly was terrified, and he managed to blurt out, "What the hell?" And then... Hey there, I'm Mr. Ballin, and what you just experienced is just a taste of what you can expect when you listen to the Mr. Ballin podcast. In every episode, I peel back the layers of the strange, the dark, and the mysterious. From unexplained phenomena that challenge everything you thought you knew about reality, to true crimes that keep you up at night, I cover it all. Listen to the Mr. Ballin podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Stories, for free on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on the Amazon Music app.